notice to the public. If you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council form located at the end of the counter and give it to the council clerk as soon as possible. All public comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words or actions, and comments shall be limited to the issues and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. All cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the Terrebonne Parish Council meeting for Wednesday, December 14th, 2022 to order, and I will lead the prayer and the pledge. If everybody please stand. Dear God, please be with those who are suffering from weather disasters and who are homeless or who are suffering in East Homa, New Iberia, and everywhere as a result of the weather. Please be with them. Please also be with us as we deliberate the matters before us this evening. We ask this in Jesus Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Brandy, roll call.
Mr. Dirk Guidry.
Here.
Mr. Trosclair.
Here.
Mr. Tillman.
Here.
Mr. Harding.
Here.
Mr. Michel.
Here.
Mr. Amity.
Here.
Ms. Domingue.
Here.
Mr. Darren Guidry.
Here.
Mr. Babin.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Hebert, is there somebody you would like to introduce?
Yes, good evening. I have a young gentleman. He's going to be a senior this year at Southern Law School. He's working for us during the break. His name is Kyle McGuire, and he wanted to come and learn about what government's about. So I said, come on and chat to me and come sit down and listen to the council. So this is Mr. Kyle McGuire. This is the council.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. All right, approval of minutes of the regular council session held on November 16th, 2022. Moved by Mr. Steve Trosclair, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Distribute minutes of the regular council session held on November 30th, 2022, which we've done. Approve accounts payable bill list for December 5th and December 12th, 2022. Moved by Mr. Carl Harding, seconded Ms. Jessica Domingue. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Approve manual checklist for October 2022. Move Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes. Item 1, general business, presentation by parish administration relative to capital projects, including drainage, utility, road, and quality of life projects, as well as other projects relative to the operations and maintenance of parish government. Mr. Dove?
Okay, thank you all very much. You know, it's been a while since we gave a presentation. Now, these are the projects that was ongoing before the hurricane, during the hurricane, after the hurricane, and this is not the hurricane recovery. This is our regular projects. It's been ongoing and some new projects. So I'm gonna give a quick rundown, and the first one in let me see. You know what? I'll have to point over here.
No, it shouldn't work over here. You want to
Okay. Okay, the first one is Elliott Jones, which is slated to be completed for April of next year. We're about 3-4 months away. This is in Mr. Corley's district. This is a $13.7 million project. It's well underway, and it was funded $10 million by the state of Louisiana and right at $4 million from this government. And it's actually moving good. When we complete this between Hanson and this pump station, we'll be pumping 1 million gallons a minute out of the Chacahula Basin. So it's a quick slide. There's the construction, the pilings, the sump. There's the building for the electrification. It's all galvanized building, and these are all electric pumps. This is 1,000 CFS. You can see how large these sumps are. You can see a man standing in there. That's just the different pump stations segments. And as you can see, next is the Shell oil. I'm glad to announce I signed a permit about a week ago. This is from the day we started getting the land from Shell Oil, which was 4,000 acres donated, to now. It's been about 5 years. It was a long time getting a permit, and as you know, it's basically to make a retention of 1.7 billion gallons of stormwater. This is going to help North Terrebonne, of course, Gray, Shreve, Bayou Cane. Also Bayou Cane, along with 311, all the way down to downtown, to Lisa Park, to everything down. This will stop as much water going down Bayou Terrebonne, which we have a great problem with. And this is going. Now, it took about 2 years to acquire the land along here, because the levee behind Rouse's, the parish had never had the servitudes. So I want to, thank Vince the Gate did a lot of work on this, along with Michelle Neal, and we did get all this land right straight. Remember, this is 12 miles of levee systems, 5 miles to Highway 90 from Savannah Road, and right at 1.5 miles on Savannah Road and a half a mile on Highway 90. And as you can see, this is going to be electric pump stations, and it's going to be 4 48-inch pumps. And you can see that's going to have sumps on Savannah Road, and it's going to have some water control structures that's going to be actuated and release water after the event. It's basically going to pump water out of Bayou Cane into the retention. We should go to bid on this in about 3 weeks. And the one thing hit us is the Corps hit us for about $2.7 million in mitigation, but that's been paid for, and we're ready to move forward. That's just some more pictures of it. It's approximately a little less than 4,000 acres. There you can see that's right behind Rouse's is where it's going to be located, and it's going to pump, and it's going to overflow the rocks into the swamps. Now, we're not going to dig the swamps or nothing. It's just the hole of water. When the event moves, then it'll be automatically drained in the Whiskey Bayou and Bayou Cane. It'll be backed up by generators, of course, with automatic, it'll be telemetry and SCADA, and we should be going to bid on this, like I said, in 2 or 3 weeks. Long term, it's 5 years coming. I want to thank GIS and everyone else involved. Morris Abel on the surveying and in the land acquisitions. It's a long time coming. A great addition to Chauvet is a Petit Caillou boat launch. We're wrapping it up right now. It's going to have access to fishing piers. I want to thank Dirk Guidry for working with us with the landowner and working with Clay Naka and his group on putting it together, along with Tommy Boudreau. There's a type of benches. It's going to have 10 benches and also 10 tables, all ADA rated under the American Disabilities Act. And they will be on the dock. As you can see, it's quite a large dock, built out of 3x12s. And it's really, really an addition to quality of life in Chauvet and Terrebonne Parish. And they're installing them as we speak. It's going to have 5 handicap parking spaces, which are being poured as we speak, except for today, of course, with the rain, it shut them down. But you can see that it's got the landing, docks, plenty of access. And, me and Dirk worked on this quite a while and got it rolling. And it's what a great asset. We hope to do more in Terrebonne Parish. And there's the handicap parking. And that's at night. It's lit up at night. It got cameras. If anybody tries to and it's also got the post to stop anyone from backing up on the docks. And it's been a great asset. As you know, we worked almost 3 years on doing Island Road, which is 2.5 miles on both sides, which is 5 miles of rocks. You can see the height of that core. Its rocks are 8.5 feet. You can see about a height of it. It's a hell of a barrier which protects Pointe-aux-Chenes along with the Morganza levee system, along with the wildlife and fisheries area. And if I'm going too fast, just y'all slow me down. I know I'm just trying to get it out quick. There's another picture of the Island Road. Tommy Boudreau and them did a great job on it. We worked on it for quite a while, and you can see they got big shoulders on it. They still gonna patch the road and fix the road up, but they've got it fixed up pretty good. So we're gonna move on over to Brady Road Bridge. As you know, we just moved $1.5 million. When we have a total of about, let me see, who got on there? About $8 million. About $8 million to finally build the Brady Road Bridge. As you know, that the old bridge there is about ready to be shut down. So a while back we bought a barge with ramps on it as a backup in case that old swing bridge doesn't make it by the time we build this bridge. It's a long time coming. Wait, here it is right here. It's it's right at $8 million. And the next one is the Lower Little Caillou Pump Station, which in Dirk's district, it's 4 48-inch vertical lift pumps, total of $5,295,000. And it's just about finished. As you can see, DOTD put 3.1, and the Terrebonne, we put 2.1, and replaced that pump station. It should have been replaced 10 years ago, and we were able to get it in. It was a tough job, and Sea Level did a nice job. So there's a picture of it. It's ready to go. So that's a big plus. Buy Black Pump Station. Let me see. Buy Black Pump Station. Believe it or not, we GIS was able to get us the permits. This thing is permitted. We have a $10 million federal grant. The only thing on this is going to move slow because the federal money will move slow. But my hat's off to GIS. They did get us a permit from the Corps. So that is actually permitted. That's in the Coley's district, and it's going to be electric with backup generators. That will give us a total of 3,000 CFS to pump the Chacahula Basin that was on the MRT, the Mississippi River tributaries, back 30 years ago. This was suggested to do, so we're moving with that. A big addition is the Valhalla Road extension. I believe that's in Darren's district. I think it goes to Coley's district, and we have $3.5 million for the engineering. I'm gonna be coming to y'all to go ahead and award it, the engineering next year, right after the first of the year, and this will go all the way to the Highway 311. Excuse me. Yeah, Highway 311 to Valhalla, right by Rouse's Drive, right by the university. It will go underneath the Highway 90, not tie into it, because we save about $26 million not doing that. And they have two proposed right-of-ways through some of the landowners, and they're going to work out exactly which route, but the end result will be at 311 and 311 and what is Rouse's Drive now by the university. Let me see, I think there's another one. Yeah, there you go. See, the university's off to the right there, and that's a huge area we need to get cars in and out of Terrebonne Parish. It will have a right of way go to a 4-lane. There'll be a 2-lane to begin with. And so we plan on acquiring enough land to do a 4-lane just like the rest of Valhalla. Another good addition is the Fargo Canal Pump Station D18. We have $5,380,000. That's just about engineered. We should be going to bid. This pump station is about ready to fall in the canal, and That should be going to bid. That's right by the Fargo Canal Landing, but we're going to move it about a mile to the north from there. Proposed by LaCorp. That's a project, I think, in Corley's district and in Darren's district. And this, as you know, next to Popeyes, we already put a retention that's very successful from stopping Lebanon and Columbus from flooding. And this is the culverts, the pump station. Everything I'm showing you here is fully funded. This is on 311. It's going to end up being pumped on 311, and which will go to the intercoastal. And then on Little Bob Black, they have another pump station right across from ABS Cafe by the McDonald's. As you can see it right there, the $7 million project, which we've got preliminary approval through the statewide flood program. We should get $5 million for it this year. Project cost is about $7 million. I think we've already put up $500,000 on the engineering, which T. Baker Smith is doing this engineering. And Hollywood Road extension, as you know, we've been working on this for about 4 years. That's partially, it's $2.9 million because it's a 3-lane bridge. It's partially funded by Terrebonne Parish, about $1.1 million, and about $1.9 million it's funded with, let me add it up. Yeah, $2.8 million is funded by the Restore Act money, and we're waiting on the U.S. Treasury to release the money. That's all we're waiting. We've done the land acquisitions. Everything's ready to go. That's the end of Valhalla on Southdown Mandalay, the 182. And the only thing we're waiting on is the U.S. Treasury, and they are very, very slow. Mort Black's been working on the money along with Candace, and this is engineered, ready to go. The bridge will look somewhat like the Polk Street Bridge, just 3 lanes instead of 2. That's why it's $2.9 million. But this is ready to go, and it's fully funded. And let me see where West Side Alma in Jessica's district, and I want to thank Jessica for working with me on this. We finally got it off the ground. It's $2.6 million, as you can see. That's always been a problem. We did put a 30-inch pump in that area that's really been handling water pretty good, and you can see the culverts that they're going to install. So it's going to have a great drainage system, and I think we got another one with the culverts, and $2.6 million. And so, you know, I want to thank Tanner McGee, Jerome Zarang, Beryl Amadi, Mike Feasey, and Brett Elaine, our state delegation, who helped us move a lot of this money along. And of course, Terrebonne Parish put up a lot of money themselves. We're building a new public works building. It's already been funded. Y'all had approved that a while back. And what it is years ago, before I got in office, they put some double-wide trailers as office buildings, and they just deplorable. They're falling apart. And so we're building an office building for the public works, and it's in design, and it is fully funded. And we should go to bid on this in about 30 days. We're very close. And Delta Engineering is doing it along with Houston Lerat. They're working on this, and it's for Dave Rome and his group. And like I said, if you go look at those double-wide trailers they're in really, really bad shape. And this is Parkwood, which has been a long time coming. We presently have about 21 homes in there. We have a group that's going to come in and do 96 bedrooms. We're talking to them. We have to go to bid, but we believe we've got someone who's willing to come in and build 96 rooms, 48 duplexes, but 96 rooms. And this is moving along very good. We've been pushing it very well. And I worked with John Navy on it, and of course now Alvin Tillman's got that area, and we're going to try to move forward with all that. But we're also designing a police station in the front of it that Lerat No, that used
Merlin?
Merlin Leret, excuse me. He's the engineer on it. The police station is funded with federal funds, and that we already, we're going to have 21 homes, and we should end up with 96 duplexes, and so this is going to really take care of some houses we lost at Senator Circle and the Bayou Towers, and cost housing for low to moderate income families. And then the Bayou Country Sportsplex, we started on 2 new soccer fields, which are going to be lit, 3 beach volleyball courts, which the whole delegation was instrumental in it, but especially Tanner McGee. He really took the Sportsplex and ran with it. And this is under construction. LA Contractors got it, total $2.6 million. And then the Summerfield addition to the adaptive park, $407,000. Now, what we've been trying to do with these recreations, if they're going to build bathrooms, build nice bathrooms and air condition them. I mean, if we should do anything, we should pass an ordinance. They have to air condition bathrooms and quit using cinder block walls, because I'm going to show you the inside, how nice they are. You can build a nice bathroom for almost the same amount of money. Now, we cost shared this with Rec 23. They worked good with us. And because part of my deal was they had to put air conditioning. I mean, these are for handicapped adults and children, and to have a bathroom without air conditioning, there's a lot of them in Terrebonne Parish. I think it's ridiculous. So that's just about finished. We did get a permit on cleaning of Bayou Terrebonne. We have $1.6 million in federal money from the intercoastal to Thibodeau. We're going out for bid for that. The reason it took so long, the court told us we cannot remove trees unless we get permitted, even though we did remove trees, because some of them we had to. So this is going to really cleaning. Now, this isn't the dredging of it. And we also purchased the land for Funderburk Avenue. That's one of our new bridges we're going to start at right there in Broadmoor. We keeping 3 crews, changing concrete panels, striping asphalt. That's been since the day I got in office. The new public work building. We went over telemetry, SCADA, pump stations. We've 40 major pump stations now, telemetry and SCADA. 3 more set to go online beginning of the year. And of course, our 24 generators, which you're all familiar with. And dredging by Terrebonne, we're still getting the permit, and it's going slow, and we got a lot of problems with it. But we hope we can work it out. And Jules, did we acquire the land for Village East? Has that been done?
The land acquisition on Village East and Broadmoor were completed last week.
Okay, I thought so, and that's for the community center in Village East. And also the Montague levee, we're gonna keep lifting it. We're doing a retention pond at Hanson Canal, retention pond at Industrial Subdivision, which is Dirk's district, and Petite Caillou Conveyance Channel and Pump Station. The 4 pumps have been refurbished and they're running. And I believe I'm finished. And I want to thank this council for working with us. I know it was a little long, but it's been a while. And this is non-hurricane projects. And that's not the courthouse or the power plant or all this other stuff we're trying to build. This is what my hats off to my department heads, to Candace Group and our engineering department. We kept all this going while we were trying to rebuild Terrebonne Parish along with this council. So we never skipped the beat on these projects, and they're all fully funded and moving along. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dove. We have some lights, Mr. Babin?
Yes, I see it's not on here. Can we get an update on the Cedar Grove to, I guess we'd call it the dump or the jail levee, the 3-mile section of the levee in the northwest section of Lake Boudreaux that's probably been going on, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now.
Mr.
Is
Dove?
there
No, Danny, that's been going on probably 15 years.
Okay.
Way before I got in office. What happened is when some landowners wouldn't give up the rights, wouldn't let us buy the rights of the land, the federal government pulled the $39 million on a section of that levee, so we had to start all over, redesigning it for us to build ourselves, with T. Baker Smith has been doing that. We recently got the Corps of Engineers to pay for the mitigation because they owed us $6 million. And so we're moving forward with the permits. I believe one section of it, we're pretty close. I can get you an update on it. And that other section, I'd have to check with T. Baker because, like I say, when they completely pulled the federal dollars that was going on for 14, 15 years, and it really wasn't anybody's fault. It was 4 landowners who refused to give it up, and the federal government would not let us expropriate it, which I disagree with it, and Terrebonne Parish lost $39 million in federal funding. So that is moving. That is, we hope to get one section of that started next year. We're waiting on the Corps to finish the mitigation cost on it, which was $1.6 million.
Yeah, because the only thing that is a savior to us is the fact that there's a good marsh behind that, and also the terracing that is being done from that area coming north. That helps us out a lot, but it's a section of the levee that if we get the right hurricane, of course, if we get the right hurricane in any area, it's going to do damage. But if we get the right hurricane, we flood the east side of Homer without that levee.
Morganza, as with it is, it would have to top Morganza, but anything can be topped, of course. And, of course, Morganza, Reggie and Tony Alford, Reggie Dupre and them are moving forward to go to 15 feet from 12.5 and 13.5. But what I plan to do, as soon as I get a permit, I'm a side burrow and try to get a 4 or 5 foot levee along there until we can build an 8 foot levee like the rest of it. So there again, we're waiting on the Corps on that, and that is got some wetland impact, so we cannot start without the Corps of Engineers.
Right, and you're right. The right storm is going to top anything. But, I mean, we had 9 foot of water in Robinson Canal because the wind came out the north on Ida. So if it came out if it blew northwest, it would have put a lot of water there. But in any event, I know a lot of it has been held up by the Corps, and it's a shame because it's a
15 years or so. That's the one little section left out of the redundant levee around Lake Boudreaux that does need to be done.
which is the largest reservoir we have in the parish. So, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Babin. Ms. Domingue?
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate this presentation. This isn't really all the projects we've been working on, Mr. Dove. It's just a few, and I do appreciate you presenting that to us. And if there's something I learned in the last 3.5 years, it's definitely focus on projects. 2 projects in District 5 that I would like to highlight, though, is the Belanger Street project and the boardwalk. That was 2 that we've been working on for the last few years, and we're finally seeing some fruits of our labor. And so I just want to highlight those, and thank you, Mr. Dove, for working with me, and Chris Pulaski for working with us as well, because those are some really exciting projects in District 5.
Jessica, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't have that on the slide, but that's, you've pushed that, and we are doing it in-house, and they are stamping the concrete. They're putting concrete rebores, and it was done poorly. The engineering was all messed up with it before. The bricks were sinking in the sand. I mean, it was a big mess, but it really looks good, and they're moving forward. Tommy Boudreaux and them are doing a nice job on it. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, sir, and phase 2 of that project's going to start in 2023. So we did phase 1, and then we're going to start with phase 2 in 2023. It's
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
budget. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Domingue. Mr. Guidry?
Yeah, also, Gordon, I'd like to thank you for the presentation. I mean, you can see all the different projects going on all over the parish. And I'm gonna go back with the boat launch. There's 2 people I'd like to thank, really, is Eric and Christy Carrad that owned this boat launch before. They sold it to the parish where they could have gotten a good chunk of money more than what they sold it to the parish for, because they wanted to keep a boat launch down in Chauvin and Boudreaux Canal area. So thanks to them guys. I mean, they did a good job, losing money for the parish. So, but I'd also like Gordy, y'all did an outstanding job. Clay Knockhand did a bang-up job. He was on top of this from day one. He never stopped. Every day he'd call me up, or we'd meet over there to look at it and ask my opinion on how we did it. And I know you had a lot of it's built very, very well, this boat launch. I'd invite anybody to go down there and take a look at it. We got good lighting. What's good is you could get a kid or an adult in a wheelchair. And we're in the process of doing that cement where y'all seen where kids can go. They got a handrail and all where kids can go or adults can go and fish, handicapped kids, The The whole project is 420 foot long, and they just started putting all these benches and all in. It's a very, very good looking boat launch. I'm getting a lot of compliments from the people down there that they're very thankful that it's getting done. So, but thank you, Gordy, for that project. Also, the Lashbrook pump station is just about done. They ran the pumps. That's going to give us 4 more 48-inch pumps down in Chauvin to pump out some of this water in case we have a major hurricane that would overtop levees or a hard rainfall. And the conveyance pumps, channel pump station, we had 4 big 48-inch pumps that were out. That was a manufacturer's defect that it took a little while to get done, but we got it done, and that's all operating. And what we did with this, we have the pump station, plus we also did a set of locks at the Boudreaux Canal floodgates. And what this is doing, the water level, we all know, water's rising in Terrebonne Parish and all over the world, water's rising. Well, our ditches and our biocides would stay flooded nearly almost year-round. So with this and Gordy's cooperation and the levee district, we decided that we'd pump down by Lokaya a little bit and keep maintaining it at a lower level while we're drying up all these ditches, all these biocides are starting to dry up. I had somebody come in my restaurant today and thank me because he said he's never seen his ditch without water in years. So that's another great project we're doing. And also that one on the Acadian Drive where we're going to build a new pump station. That's going to help out those people in that area a lot. So, we're moving forward day by day, a little bit by a little bit, but we're doing a great job. Thanks for everybody in Terrebonne Parish that's had something to do with it. Clayton, like I said, I can't say enough about Clayton Arcand, how he's helped with that boat launch, because I think he's just about got it done all by himself. Got great lighting, we got cameras. These cameras can even count how many boats launch in that boat launch every day. So, and the first weekend where we had the lights and all installed, there was a boating accident, and the fire department and all set up triage at night on this dock right here where they could see and take these patients in that what they were bringing in. There was 2 people seriously hurt, but that's where they did triage on this. So 1 week after we had lighting, it helped out a lot. So thank you all a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Guidry. Mr. Tillman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Parish President, for that report. And certainly, as I look back at the parish and seeing the importance of drainage, and I used to have residents all the time used to ask me about all the money going down to the bayous and so, but I've always said that so goes the bayou, so goes the inner city. So I certainly understand that. I got some question about the Parkwood Place subdivision. Now, I remember when I was here as a councilman, I think it was back in 2009, 2010, maybe in that area, where the proposed subdivision was taking place. And I think at that time, S.P. LaRusso and I think Charles Giglio had the property at that time. And I had some concerns about the project at that time. And I guess some of those concerns that I had at that time seems to be coming to fruition here. Now, I want everybody to understand that as far as housing is concerned, I realize that housing stock is very, very low. It's a very, very challenging situation here, even more so since Ida. But I look at this project, and when I was here, I looked at this project dealing with home ownerships, and that's what we were looking at. And I had a concern at that time as it relates to the various zoning of the piece of property. And I see that have taken place here. And one of the questions I have is that the frontage of the property, and who am I going to address this to? Okay. The frontage of the property. I had a concern with that being zone C3. Can you kind of explain to me why was that necessary?
Sure. So that frontage, so we're talking about the large vacant parcels that have frontage along East Street, but not within the subdivision. Those are actually owned by another party and not necessarily part of Parkwood subdivision. But they are zoned C3, neighborhood commercial. The big difference between C3 and C2, which is general commercial, is that C3 focuses on businesses that serve the neighborhood. So they excluding the businesses that don't. And what we're talking about are standalone bars and lounges, strip clubs, that kind of stuff. That's not allowed in C3. Other than that, most of the uses that are permitted in C2 are permitted in C3.
And I just want you to, just for the sake of time, so it won't be an extensive elaboration on it, I do understand the process. I really do. I was in this very, very, I dealt with this very, very deeply when I was here. Now, in that C3 designation, what type businesses? And now we got to understand we're talking the East Street area. What type businesses do you hope to, or they hope to attract in that location?
Well, I mean, I would think.
Before you go, I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying that. Now, you're talking about individuals getting the biggest purchase of their lifetime, okay, is their homes, okay? And with the possibility of stores coming there, and such as like little ShopRites type stores, you know, coming into that area, what is this going to do to their property value? I mean, this is their first time and lifetime investment. What will that do to their investment? Because when you think about the stores that's going to come, it's going to be limited in terms of what stores going to come to the location. There's no doubt about that. Okay? So the mom and pops are long gone. Okay? And you know the challenges that we have in that area. But to have this Jones C3, what was the zoning prior to that?
Open land.
It was open land.
Yeah.
And which I think it probably should have just stayed there at that point for now. Because with this C3 designation, it's going to create a problem for those homeowners in times to come. It's no doubt about it. Because you're going to end up with these little stores there, and that's going to be nothing but problem. I can see it. And that's why I opposed it when I was here. You know, the idea of home ownership have always been a big thing for me. Because I just want to see people take to that next level, moving from ownership to ownership. That's a great thing. But to have these various designations there, that's going to really, really affect those people in time to come. It really would. And I think personally, they're not doing them any justice by doing that. It's really not. Now, the other thing is because you got multiple designations here, now you got the R3 districts there. So under that R3 district, now you have these folks buying homes. And now you're going to end up with perhaps under R3, you know you can put mobile homes there. Because you're talking about investors. And as an investor, I can understand a person trying to get residual on the returns. But to have this in the midst of this home ownership, man, that's going to be a problem. Because I can see it down the line. And believe me, 20 to 30 years is like the blink of an eye. And you're going to have some of the same challenges that we've been dealing with for years. We're going to have those same challenges. Now,
Okay, the R3 that was put, we're fixing to go out a request for proposal for that whole block. And we are going to put up, when I say we, through federal monies, $4.8 million, and another outfit is coming along, and they're going to put up $25 million and build duplexes on everything you see in green. So that area that was zoned will go out for duplexes with a firm that does that all over the United States. But by federal guidelines, we have to go out with an RFP first for their proposal. But probably what needs to get done on this, to explain it better than I, is get Kelly Cunningham here one day, or you meet with her and let her explain to you. See, because like some of the corner lots, the Ernie family is going to donate it to put 2 Head Start classrooms in some of the corner lots, if I could put it back on the screen, but I'd have to find it. And then 2 of the other lots are access for recreation. Now, you are correct. Those front lots can present a problem on commercial. The corner lot is the police station. Okay, we own that. The parish owns that for a Houma Police substation. But the other lots is up to the ownership of the family of, you correct, on who they allow there. But as far as the R3 is strictly zoned Is that R3 or R2? That's R2, huh?
That's all three.
There's a strip of R2, and then there's R3 on the south end.
Okay, let me finish up here. I understand R3. Believe what I'm telling you, I do understand R3, and I also understand the challenges of having R3. When this was first proposed, I said that there will be no need for C3, there will be no need for R3. And I ask again, Mr. Pulaski, under R3, can you share with me and this council what all you can put there?
Well, R3 is multifamily residential, so you can have in the zoning, you could have single-family residential, you could have two-family residential, you could have multifamily, or you could have mobile homes. Now-
Stop right there. Stop.
Well,
stop.
wait,
Go ahead.
let me finish one thing.
Go
The
ahead.
subdivision covenants for Parkwood do not allow for mobile homes.
Okay.
So while the zoning may, the subdivision covenants
All
do
right.
not.
All right. Okay. Now, the subdivision covenants.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
the subdivision covenant is in place, but its only effectiveness is that if you get it to the court. So you're talking about people having a document in place that you have to end up going to court in order to take care of that document in terms of what you can do. But you have to understand, many subdivisions have subdivision covenants. There's no doubt about that. They also expire. But what I'm saying, if you don't have the funding to take that situation to court, you just got some document in place. And Mr. Pulaski, what I'm saying here is that we know the danger of R3. We know that. And like I said, you're talking about investors. If I invest and I can't get a residual on my investment, then we have a problem.
I've got a solution.
I think, well, I think what
we need to
Mr.
take this
Tillman, I
No,
think what-
please,
Overlay
please,
districts.
Please,
Overlay
whatever y'all-
districts.
Look,
Let's-
please, whatever y'all do, don't try to think of what I'm saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. So let's get this stuff straight.
Yeah, overlay districts. I think
what,
that
what-
would be the
I
way
think,
to handle
I think
it.
what Mr. Tillman is looking is for a discussion and possible action to help correct some things. Is that what,
I'm open to all
Just
that.
let him finish it.
Yeah, but Darren, okay, first
the
of
only
all.
reason I'm saying is-
I
No,
have
no,
the light.
wait,
Hold on, fella. I have
First
the
you gotta
light.
go back to the map.
hold on, wait, hold on,
Chairman, I have the light.
hold on.
Mr. Chairman, I have the light.
Wait a second, hold on a second.
Mr. Chairman, I have the light.
I understand, Mr. Tillman. But we're getting a little beyond the discussion, and I'm thinking maybe we need to put this on the agenda and actually have something on there that we can perhaps take some action on, because of course this isn't on our agenda, so all we're doing is discussing it, so we can't take any action, but we can put it on Monday's committee meetings.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, this is a presentation, so therefore, since he put the presentation on the table, I have the right to discuss it. It's on the table, I have the right to discuss it. And we will discuss it at a later date too as well, but what I'm saying is that since you have this document here, is in fact, you can put a mobile home park there,
Well, a mobile home park?
under R3. Can you put a mobile home park?
Well, you could, but I mean, there's no infrastructure in place in that portion of that subdivision. So the whole mobile home park process is same as a major subdivision. I mean, we're talking 5 phases going through the planning
Yeah,
commission.
Now, we know mobile home park, we're talking 2 or more, we know that.
Uh-huh.
But the other thing I have here is that where's the pond? Is there a pond there to catch the runoff?
It's on the,
Because I don't see it here.
it's those lots that are on the far right-hand side, border of the property, the back, you see how deep they are? The reason for that is because a portion of those lots is that retention pond.
Did we do a soil testing?
I'm not sure.
You need to check that out. Because if we did not do a soil testing, that could be a problem. As you go off of East Street going into that subdivision, off to the far left where the gym is at, there used to be an R well there. You need to do an R testing there. Because if you don't, that can pose a problem. And listen, fellas, let me tell you something. I am very happy about the project. Very happy about the possibility of this project. But I want to make sure that those people who buy into this subdivision understand what they're buying into. Were you guys aware that there was a R well there?
Well, I can't answer that question.
Well, there was an R well there. The farther left portion of that was an R well. And a soil testing should have been done here. There's no doubt about it.
I'm not saying it wasn't done. I'm just
Well,
not
can you
aware
check
of
that
what.
out?
I will
And
check it
Mr.
out.
Chairman, you can put this back in the committee and we'll discuss it further.
Can we put this, Ms. Tammy, on Monday's committee, and Community Development and Planning, please? Hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Duff.
Public will understand. The R3 is open land if you look at the map. The R2 is where the duplexes are going that have a road. And then the rest is residential. The R3 is not developed, it's open land. So that, if this council so chooses, if they want to do away with R3, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, that's open land. Like he said, you got to put infrastructure, you got to put roads. So the chances of a mobile home, but Alvin's correct, they could put one there. But that's not what our project's about. It's about the duplexes and the residentials, not that R3. So thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman,
But
Mr. Chairman, just
go ahead, Mr.
quick,
Tillman. You still have the light.
If you don't mind. Mr. Pulaski, is the term in the development, does the PUD still exist?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're gonna discuss that further because I have some questions here and some things. I don't want to prolong the meeting anymore, but we really need to discuss this.
Well, let me
Okay.
just say one final thought. With an overlay district, what we could do is establishing an overlay district where they have R3 zoning on that property, because Senator Circle's already zoned R3. That's what that property's zoned. But
Right.
the Parkwood property, where we have R3, we can put an overlay district specific for Parkwood subdivision that says no mobile homes, right? That way, you not only do you have the covenants that say that, but you also have zoning that's saying
Well,
that.
don't you think you can accomplish the same thing about a milder? I think maybe a C6.
Well, I'm talking about the residential portion of the property.
Well, the C3 that we got, can you maybe put up C6?
Well, that's something we can discuss.
Let's look at that so we can eliminate the possibility of any stores coming in the frontage of their property. But like I said, we'll discuss it more, okay? But now, is any of their property at this time still OL district?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. You bring up some very valuable things and worth further discussion. Mr. Babin.
Just one quick question. I was on the planning commission when all of this came up 10, 12 years ago, or however many years ago it was. The intent for this area was, as Mr. Tillman said, home ownership. All right. The duplexes, I think, are a great idea. Are the duplexes rental property? Are they Section 8 property? Are they home ownership property? Because it gets away from the original intent of the Parkwood subdivision area. So you alluded to that at the beginning, Mr. Tillman, that the commercial may keep people from wanting to have a home ownership in there. Is rental property going to do the same thing? Now, I'm not saying I'm against it. It's just some original intent was for home ownership. In fact, there was a program that gave them help with the down payments of the property, as I remember correctly. I mean, it's been 12, 14 years ago. So again, I'm just throwing this out for when we put it on the agenda to discuss it before, because this doesn't seem to be the original intent. And it's not that it's bad, it's just different. Thank you.
And Chris, one quick question will be off of this, but those proposed R2 and proposed R3, are they still proposed?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
It was approved.
So that should.
The zoning change has been made.
Okay, so where it says proposed is actually R2 and R3.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, we can talk at the committee meeting if there's any action that we can take as a result of that. Sure. Thank you very much. Is that all, Mr. Duff? Yeah. Okay, thanks. We're moving on. We have public wishing to address the council. Do you want to do that? We have one speaker card. Mr. Johnny Smith wants to speak about the VDC Operation Clean Sweep. Go ahead, Mrs. Smith.
Well, I want to thank everybody. My name is Johnny Smith. I live in Thibodaux, Louisiana, 1610 Cardinal Drive. I had a meeting with 3 members of the council, Mr. Babin, Mr. Guidry, and Mr. Harding, and we were discussing a disaster corps. We renamed it Veterans Disaster Corps, VDC. We're in the operation of developing the organization. We just had this disaster hit us again with tornadoes. I was watching it on TV, and I talked to Mr. Harding a little earlier today. I forgot all about the meeting. But what I would like to do is have us recognized as an organization being developed right now as a disaster corps. We're trying to put together 1,000 men, which is a battalion of veterans that would do this work at a drop of a dime. We're trying to put something together tomorrow to go out and see if we can get some veterans out there to assist in the disasters in our areas already. So what I would like to say is that I want to thank you for the proclamation that we had for the bike ride. That was very successful. And I'm sorry to let you know today that one of our oldest veterans, he was 100 years old, Mr. Toops, at Claiborne House, he died Friday. So his funeral is tomorrow at Landry's in Thibodeau. I would also like to get another proclamation for the VDC, Veterans Disaster Corps. It is in development. We'll put it a little further down the road, but tomorrow we're going to have a meeting and try and get some veterans together to go out and see if we can assist in this rescue and recovery. I just want you all to know that we thank you very much for accepting us in. American Veterans Advocacy and Vets United is the parent companies of VDC. So, Mr. Babin, Mr. Harding, Mr. Guidry, I want to thank you for coming out and listening to us. But don't think you're not going to come back again. You're coming back. You might come tomorrow. But I want to thank you, and I want to thank the council for having me in here, and I will be back. And thank you very
Mr.
much.
Johnny. 6:30, public hearings. We have A, an ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute a right-of-use agreement between Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Claude Luke Jr. and Pauline Luke for the property that bears a municipal address of 110 Indigo Street, Dulac, Louisiana, 70353. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close by Mr. Tillman. Babin, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion to adopt Mr. Babin, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item B, an ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute a right-of-use agreement between TPCG and Vergia Beach and James Beach for the property that bears a municipal address of 214 Bayou Gardens Drive, Houma, Louisiana, 70364. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Amity, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Amity, seconded Mr. Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item C, an ordinance authorizing the parish president to execute a right-of-use agreement between TPCG and Alvin and Beverly Billiot for the property that bears a municipal address of 7326 Shrimpers Road, Dulac, Louisiana, 70353. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Babin, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Babin, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item D, an ordinance declaring a vehicle from the Housing and Human Services and an excavator from Forest Drainage Departments as surplus and authorizing said items to be disposed of by any legally approved methods. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Harding. Seconded, Mr. Amity. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Harding, seconded Mr. Amity. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item E, an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operating budget and 5-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. 1, Bayou Country Sports Park road lighting, $100,000. Funderburg Bridge expansion, $375,000. Houma Police Department, $14,492. Fago Canal Marsh Management Program, $47,737. Bayou Country Sports Park, $2,984,000. Bayou Terrebonne Lock Pump Station, $5 million. 5% budget adjustment for Parish Prisoners Fund, $40,000. 5% budget adjustment for Road Lighting District Number 6, O&M, $6,586. 5% budget adjustment for Road Lighting District Number 1, $3,023. 5% budget adjustment for Road Lighting District Number 6, $7,500. 5% budget adjustment for Criminal Court Fund, $0. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Dirk Gidry, seconded by Mr. Danny Babin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Babin. Seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. Discussion, Mr. Babin?
Yes, at our last meeting, Candace, I asked a question about, I know this is capital outlay money here, but I asked a question about how much we as a parish have put towards the Bayou Sports Park in our money and capital outlay money and maybe some type of revenue, and you said this would be, tonight, this would be a good spot to bring it up.
Yes, sir. So starting from 2012, when all of this began, total expenditures to date for Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government is right at about 4.8 million. So that's the total expenses to do the projects of the soccer fields, the baseball fields, the concessions, and so forth. What has been funding that, we have done about 5.3 million of local. So this funding, let me say this because it's going to sound like a whole lot more than what we've expensed because we have projects ongoing.
Right.
So the budget for the Bayou Country Sports Park, the local funding is about 5.3 million. We have had some bonds issued of about 1.8 million, and we've had state and federal money of a little over 5 million. So that's where all of the funding has come in from to do the capital projects in the Bayou Country Sports Park. And then if you look at the actual revenues and expenses that are coming in every year to the sports park, now that it's open and we have concession stands and stuff, it averages the revenues, which include hotel, motel taxes, the sponsorships, and the concession sales of about $1 million. And our expenses are an average about $900 to $1 million. So it's kind of breaking even. There's profit some years. We do have bond payments out of that that's included in the expenses. So it's not a total operational expense for the Bayou Country Sports Park because we do have those bond debts. But that's where it is at right now.
Okay, we've never from the beginning determined what completion was on it. And one of the reasons I wanted to even bring this up is to let the public know we are putting money into it, all right? We are getting a lot of capital outlay money. And once it's, I'm going to have to use the word complete, but further along than we are right now, if we're breaking even, if you will, at this point, we didn't even consider economic development in this, okay? Yes, so it will, down the line, be a very profitable thing for Terrebonne Parish. But we have to get to some point where it's closer to being finished, and that means more ballparks and all the other things, the ancillary things that need to go with that. So thank you very much for this. I think it'll better help the public understand that a lot of money has gone into it, but at this point in time, it can realize a profit down the line.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item F, an ordinance to adopt the 2023 operations and maintenance budget and the 5-year capital outlay improvements budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government as presented by the parish president and further amended by the Terrebonne Parish Council to amend the parish compensation plan for new and/or adjusted positions to approve a 2% cost of living increase for the parish president's department and council staff and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close?
Motion to close, Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt, Ms. Domingue. The request has been for unanimous second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes with unanimous second. Ordinance passes with a unanimous second. Moving along to committee reports. A, accept the minutes of the Terrebonne Parish Sales and Use Advisory Board, Tax Advisory Board meeting that was held December 6, 2022, and consider ratification of the actions relative thereto. And those include declaring items in the Sales and Use Tax Department as surplus property and disposing of the same, recommendation for the adoption of a resolution accepting the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for the 2022 year-end audit, a recommendation to accept the 2022 projected year-end budget, recommendation to accept the 2023 proposed budget, and recommendation to approve the amended contract with Gary W. Lambert and Company for auditing services. So we need a motion to accept these minutes. Moved by Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded by Mr. Carl Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item B, Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Harding?
I make a motion that the budget and the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on December 12, 2022. I have no public hearings.
Motion, Mr. Harding. Seconded, Mr. Amity. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C, Community Development and Planning Committee. Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that council accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development and Planning Committee held on December 12, 2022, and have no public hearings.
Motion by Mr. Trosclair, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D, Public Service Committee. Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Services Committee held on November 14, 2022, and I have two public hearings. The first is to introduce an ordinance to enter into a built lease agreement with Tesh Action Board, Inc., and call a public hearing on Wednesday, January 11, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. The second is to introduce an ordinance to enter into an act of exchange with Tesh Action Board, Inc., and call a public hearing on Wednesday, January 11, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.
Motion, Mr. Amity, second, Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, Street Lights, lights installations, removals, and/or activations. As per by Mr. John Amity, seconded by Mr. Carl Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item 5, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. The Terrebonne Communications District Board, one expiring term on December 31st, 2022, representing the Fire Chief Association, and Mr. Toby Henry has expressed his interest in being reappointed to that position. Motion to open, close, and reappoint Mr. Henry by Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded by Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item B, Recreation District Number 6 Board, one vacancy and one expired term. Mr. Kenneth J. Pellegrin Jr. submits application for consideration. Motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Pellegrin and hold the second one over, seconded by Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C, Downtown Development Corporation, 3 expired terms, one representing each of the following: the Downtown Merchants, Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Arts and Humanities. Ms. Catherine Gilbert, representing the Convention and Visitor Bureau, submitted application and resume for consideration.
Motion to open, close, and appoint Ms. Gilbert and hold the others over.
Motion to open, close, and appoint Ms. Gilbert and hold the other two over by Ms. Domingue, seconded by Mr. Babin. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Babin?
Is there some, do we need to take a look at the way this board, the Downtown Development Corporation's people are put on the board? In essence, a lot of times we are just acknowledging the appointment from the group. And it's to my understanding that one of the groups that was in the original is no longer in there anymore. Mm-hmm. We don't have an authority just to let somebody come put their name into it. We have to change the methodology that we use to put them on there. So we need to put this on the agenda somewhere down the line to address that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. We may have that on our agenda next week. I'm currently doing some research to try to figure out where to start. Mr. Harding?
Yes, and I can agree with Mr. Babin in reference to the circumstances. Of course, people actually have been calling me and asking how they can get on this particular committee. So even how this committee was actually formatted with the intent and the usefulness it has for Terrebonne Parish as a whole. because, you know, when I walk from my house and go downtown, you know what I mean, even though I live right down the way, but then I want people from Dulac and Montague and everywhere else to actually have some input and looking at this also, because this is our parish now. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Ms. Domingue?
Yeah, and I support that as well. I think that this board was created a very, very long time ago, and some of those organizations aren't even in existence anymore. And so it is definitely something that we need to look at, because we do want to give everybody an opportunity to serve. And this is definitely a way that people are very, very excited to serve and to put their name up and to contribute to their community. And so rather than closing the door on anybody, I think that we should open the door for more people. So I absolutely appreciate you guys bringing that up.
Thank you, Ms. Domingue. And we've already voted on that. Item D, Terrebonne Parish Port Commission, 2 expiring terms on December 31st, 2022, each representing the parish president. Parish President Gardney Dove recommends ratification of his appointment of Mr. Jacob Brown and his reappointment of Mr. Dan Davis. Motion to open, close, and appoint Mr. Brown and Mr. Davis by Mr. Trosclair, seconded by Mr. Babin. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item E, Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board, 1 expired term representing the Houma Police Department. Mr. Chad Cunningham expresses his interest in being reappointed.
Open, close, and appoint Mr. Cunningham.
Motion to open, close, and reappoint Mr. Cunningham by Mr. Harding. Seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Vacancies to various boards, committees, and commissions. Rec District Number 1 has 1 expiring term on January 14th, 2022. Recreation District 4 has 2 expiring terms on January 29th, 2023. Said 2022 in the other, but it's 2023 in the other as well. Recreation District Number 5 Board, 1 expiring term on December 26th, 2022, and 1 on January 14th, 2023. Fire Protection District 4 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1st, 2023. Fire Protection District 5 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1st, 2023. Fire Protection District Number 6 Board has 3 expiring terms on January 1st, 2023. Fire Protection District Number 7 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023. Fire Protection Number 8 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023, and 1 expired term. Fire Protection District Number 9 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023. Fire Protection District Number 10 Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023. Bayou Blue Fire Protection District Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023, and 1 expired term. Bayou Cane Fire Protection District Board has 3 expiring terms on January 1, 2023. Coteau Fire Protection District Board has 2 expiring terms on January 1, 2023, and 1 expired term. Schriever Fire Protection Board has 3 expiring terms on January 1, 2023. Village East Fire Protection Board has 1 expiring term on January 1, 2023. Children and Youth Services Board has 5 expired terms. Terrebonne Parish Tree Board has 3 vacancies due to resignation. The Downtown Development District Corporation, 2 expired terms, 1 representing each of the following: the Downtown Merchants and Arts and Humanities. Houma Terrebonne Public Trust Finance has 2 expiring terms, 1 on December 18th, 2022, and 1 on December 26th, 2022. And TITA has 3 expired terms. Monthly engineers reports, Milford and Associates, T. Baker Smith. As per by Mr. Dirk Gidry, seconded Ms. Domingue. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Announcements. Mr. President's gone. Council members, any announcements? Mr. Babin.
Yeah, Catherine was here from TITA and was reappointed on the downtown development. I just want to thank you for putting your name back up, Catherine.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Any other announcements? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned?
Motion to adjourn, Ms. Domingue, seconded by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Oh, okay, Mr. Michel.
I just wanted to remind everybody that school's going to be out next week, so please be careful for kids who might be out in the streets. Pray for all of those kids who have exams to take at this time, and especially if you're able, especially in this Christmas time, give blood to help those who are in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michel. Motion adjourned by Ms. Domingue, seconded by Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.